Hey, Drew here, and I'm going to be reacting to the teaser for The Handmaid's Tale Season 4. If you're new to the channel, if you're interested in seeing more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. I love subscribers. So let's check this out.
I can't rest. My daughter deserves better. We all deserve better. Change never comes easy. This war isn't going to win itself.
Canada.
All those children. It's June's legacy.
Which changed me, changed you.
She does have strong claws, that one.
It's not safe anywhere. We should all just leave.
These women deserve to be helped. But I can't do this alone.
Blessed be the squad.
That's
She is
cheesy.
out there planning who knows what kind of atrocities to visit upon our righteous nation. I never allowed myself to see her for what she clearly is, beyond redemption.
What happens in the next few weeks will determine the future of this country.
We're just getting started.
Is that really a trailer for a new season? It looks exactly like a lot of other seasons. I mean, there were clips there that definitely looked like they were pilfered from really early seasons even. I don't know. I mean, I love this show. I think it's one of the consistently most artistically rich shows on television. The cinematography has so much texture and so much depth. I love the precision with which it's shot. It's very symmetrical, and then they also allow for some other stylizations. So I've always been super impressed by the style of the show, and that looks like it's the same. I think where it's running into problems is that this world seems like the narrative is kind of stretched too thin, and I honestly felt like they might need to kill June off, or at least not have her be in the story anymore last season, because I feel like, despite the fact that Elizabeth Moss is just a small g goddess on this show and worthy of all the hype, I feel like they may have done all the things that they can realistically do with this character, because who really believes at this point that people wouldn't have figured out her game and had her executed? It's really interesting to see that they're doubling down on this show. Apparently Hulu has already acquired the rights to Margaret Atwood's next book, the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, The Testaments, and to me, I read that book and it felt basically like season 8 of Handmaid's Tale. Like, it felt like just a continuation of this story, so I'm not sure that it needed to be a separate show, quite honestly. And it's interesting just to see all the streaming services and networks just doubling down on their most successful and most popular shows. For example, you've got Walking Dead that has their main show, which is already in its 10th, 11th season, and then they're doubling down on that with movies and 2 spin-off series, and they're probably going to do more. You've got Game of Thrones, which ended, but now there's at least one spin-off coming, House of the Dragon, and now there are plans for, potentially 3 to 4 more if they decide to. So you see this trend, and it's interesting because you don't think of Handmaid's Tale as a hit show, but it definitely is for Hulu, and particularly in terms of critical acclaim. And it's going to be interesting to see how season 3 does at the Emmys this year, because it wasn't eligible last year, I don't believe, except for a couple episodes. So those are my thoughts on this teaser. It looks, like this quality has remained consistent anyway, but I think that the narrative is kind of starting to wear a little thin, and it's hard to see how they keep this story going, at least the way that it has been going. So those are my thoughts, but let me know what you think in the comments section. Subscribe, and as always, you can watch more videos right now.